What's up, everyone? It's Denise Salcedo, and I'm currently at Radio Row here at Mandalay Bay. And with me right now is one half of the AEW Tag Team Champions, Darby Allin. Darby, what a phenomenal week it's been for you. I'm going to start off there because that's the big thing. Look at that gold, and your partner is Sting. Yeah. Talk to us about that.
The icon, the legend. No, it's been an amazing week. I'm a little banged up after Wednesday, but when am I ever not banged up? The big thing about it, though, to me is having Sting's career end this way. It's so insane because, like, I remember my first year in professional wrestling, I saw him essentially have to retire back in 2015 with the neck injury, and then to fast forward now and like convincing him to get back in the ring, like, I'm like, it's pretty cool to see how far we've came. So, you know, and the fact that he's so crazy, he could have just rode off into the sunset, you know, played it safe, you know, but no, trust me, when I say this, I don't tell him to jump off those balconies. That's all him. So, yeah, like, but it's awesome to see how much he's willing to push it because he's got nothing to prove. But
no, he definitely has it, and it's. Can I just say it's crazy to hear you call somebody else crazy because Darby, I've seen it, the fans have seen it, have seen you do some insane stuff. Like even before you got to AEW, like you've just been like doing crazy stuff all around. So I want to start with that, man. What would you say has been the craziest thing that you've done that even you yourself were like, maybe I shouldn't do this. Hey, Darby, maybe think twice. I don't know.
Inside the ring or outside the ring?
Either.
So outside the ring, I would say taking a Jeep and jumping 96 feet over my house off that big jump. I remember I did it 2 years ago. Tony Khan actually was on FaceTime. He was trying to talk me out of it because he heard that I was possibly going to break my back doing it. So he's all like, hey, man, can we get you a stunt double? I'm like, I couldn't live with myself if I had a stunt double. So what I did, I jumped over it. He was on FaceTime. Right when I landed in those mobile home trailers, the first thing I did is I jumped out, and the very first thing I said to Tony, I can make it Wednesday to Dynamite. I'm good. So he was really relieved. I felt like that was pretty sketchy, but I feel like coming up is going to be the most sketchiest thing I've ever done is Mount Everest.
Oh,
that's gonna be a whole new level of sketchy, but screw it.
Where are you at in terms of the preparations for that? Because, I mean, I know very little about what it takes to climb Mount Everest, but what are the preparations like?
Trust me, I knew zero about it, and I decided to do it like late last spring, and my training essentially started in September. So they said for someone to climb Mount Everest, the world's biggest mountain with zero experience, in 6 months is unheard of, let alone all the crazy stuff I'm doing in the ring. Like, it's not like I'm playing it safe. I got to be in one piece for this mountain. I probably risk my career week in and week out. But, like, we've been doing so much crazy training all around the world climbing these mountains. Like, it's probably the most mentally and physically taxing thing that I've done. But I love the challenge, and I love pushing, like, to the limits. Because I feel like some wrestlers, we live in, like, this bubble of the wrestling world, and we forget that there's a whole world out there. And then I was like, man, what's some stuff that a professional wrestler has never done? And I thought, no one's ever climbed Mount Everest. Let's do that. And then hopefully if I survive that, I can go to space. So I just want to, you know what I mean? I just want to live life to the fullest, and that's the beauty of AEW is they let me do that.
So, okay, I got a couple questions here. Okay, first of all, you said 6 months. So when exactly is the time frame that you're looking at to climb Mount Everest?
April. I go in April.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay, and so right now to prepare, you've been climbing other mountains. How's that?
It's gnarly. Like so I had the match at Full Gear, the 6-man with Adam Copeland and Sting versus the Patriarch with Christian Luchasaurus, Nick Wayne. And right after that match, literally right after that match, I didn't even wait for the show to end. I had to jump on a red eye to go to Kathmandu. So I flew right there, and I was like I was banged up after that match. But then all of a sudden, I stayed in Kathmandu for probably 3 weeks. We climbed Lobuche, which is one of the sister mountains of Everest. You can see Everest from the summit of Lobuche. But it's just like, it's like 21,000 feet. But just like I've had these things where we have to leave. We have to start climbing at 1 a.m. because like you got to just like get to the peak before the sun comes up. and then all of a sudden I can't sleep at night. So I'm up for 30 hours, and then I climb these gnarly mountains. It's insane. Like it was, like I said, one of the hardest things I've done. But everybody on the team that I'm going with says, like, dude, you got what it takes to climb Mount Everest. So they're very happy with my my dedication that I put into it.
What's the thing that you're most like concerned about?
A Yeti.
Okay.
Final answer.
Okay. All right. So, okay. On top of this, this spiraled this new question because I'm listening to you talk about these things, and you make it seem so unscary, even though all of us here know that that's terrifying and like we wouldn't sign up for that. Do you feel fear, Darby? And if so, what do you fear?
I fear complacency. That's like been my biggest fear my whole life. Is, you know, I always wanted to do stuff with like something special with my life, but everybody told me like, hey, don't expect much, just like expect the bare minimum. And like I listened to them, and that got me a job at the 99-cent store. It got me a job as a dishwasher, and it was killing me inside. Like it sucked. So the moment I started listening to myself, and like being like, all right, complacency is my biggest fear. Just like people not living to their fullest potential, like that's what, like the fact that I found out, like listening to myself early on got me a lot of great opportunities in life. I'm so grateful for that, just because people find that out too late in life. So yeah, that's my biggest fear.
Well, they say it's the only thing you should fear is fear itself, and I feel like you're probably like, but I would say of anybody, I would say that you would probably agree with that quote.
Yeah, no, absolutely. The thing is, people are like, are you afraid to die in Mount Everest? No, like, you know, at least I know that I've pushed myself to the absolute limit, and I felt like I have lived more in a year than most people live their whole lives. So if I die on that mountain, I've lived life this one. So.
Oh my God, well, you definitely are. So I do want to go ahead and touch on the fact, like we were just kind of talking a little bit off air, you and I, how, you know, we met at Suburban Fight, and at Suburban Fight, I saw you do some crazy things there. Yeah. But since then, you have completely skyrocketed. You're on national television each and every single week, AEW. You're teaming with Sting. You're having these crazy matches. I mean, your work that you've done with just about everybody has been nuts. Darby, how would you say your life has changed from where you were at before AEW and where you're at now?
I think the biggest thing to me is like, the most important thing is staying grounded mentally. Like, so like when I got into AEW, I wanted to leave the same guy I came in, essentially. I didn't want to like get this big head, this ego, and then like lose track of who I am. So I was talking to Rick Rubin, the music producer, and I asked him like, what's like the thing to stay most grounded and not lose yourself in this? Because I don't want to like become like this fake person and like look at myself in the mirror and not know who I am anymore. So he's like, oh, like meditation. So I signed up for a TM meditation, which he does, and it's been awesome. And like, so to me, I'd say the biggest thing that's changed is the opportunities that I'm able to do with my loved ones outside the ring. Like, for example, like I don't know much about football, but I can bring my dad to the Super Bowl, yes. And he loves football. So the fact that I'm able to do that type of stuff's important. So.
Is your dad here right now?
No, he flies in today at 4.
Okay.
He flies in today at 4, so he'll be around. He'll be around.
God, that is so freaking awesome, man. I can't believe it. Okay, so, you know, we were talking about you winning the tag team titles with Sting. At Revolution, it is Sting's final match. We already know that. What are your feelings regarding that? Because you've had a very special relationship with him, and what has that journey been like from the moment where you found out you guys were going to team up together, everything since then, and now knowing that you're going to be part of this last match?
You know, I'll stop at nothing to make sure that man's career ends on a high note, and that's like I'm willing to put myself through anything physically in that match. Because to me, the most important part of a career is the end. People are going to remember this forever. And if you like crap the bed in your final match, people are like, his career is good and everything, but man, he should have left a lot sooner. And I don't want that. And he's been hitting home runs in AEW this whole way. No one expected him to be able to do what he's doing. And You know, I don't know. I'm very grateful for the whole experience, and I couldn't have been paired up with anyone better because he's the most humble, chill guy outside the ring, and he could be the most like arrogant dude, you know, if he wanted to be, because he's done everything there is. But the fact that he's so humble and nice, I'm like, that's what I want to be when I'm 64 years old. You know, so when I get older, I want to be Sting.
I love that, man. I love that. All right, and my last question for you is, oh my gosh, you have done, like I mentioned, so much in AEW. What do you still want to make sure that you do? What's the bucket list item that you're like, I want to make sure I do this in AEW? Or is it someone you want to wrestle, a show you want to headline, a belt you want to win?
So to be the face of a company, I believe you have to be world champion. So that is the next logical step when I get back from Everest, because Everest is almost like a vision quest in a way, you know what I mean? When I go dig deep down inside in the mountains and like find out really what's inside of here. But outside of that, like wrestling wise, this man's career is done, Danielson. Like that's the next thing, like, you know, like, and it has nothing to do with us being from the Northwest. It's just his work ethic. He's another man. His career was supposed to be over. He came back and he's better than ever. So it's like, dude, those are my two kind of things that I want to hit in AEW.
Man, well, I got to tell you, the second you said Bryan Danielson, all of a sudden I started picturing this match in my head. So yeah, exactly that. Darby, I want to thank you so much for doing this interview with me. I can't wait to hear your stories from Mount Everest, and I can't wait to see you wrestle at Revolution and just everything that you're doing. To everybody watching, thank you guys so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.